Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. This episode, oh wow, um, wow, I don't even know where to begin. I'm gonna begin with my favorite part of this episode. This episode was actually good. This episode was actually good. I watched Days and I watched GH earlier, and I was like, I didn't really like the wedding stuff or the GA stuff, but some of the other stuff was good though. And usually, for a good minute, Days have been really stepping it up, and I've been looking forward to watching Days more than GH. And I still can't wrap my head around that. But watching today's episode just kind of reminded me that one, my subscribers are just the best, just in general. And the fact that, during the whole pandemic and stuff like that, when GH was gone, and somebody was like, you sit there and watch Days, it's really good. It reminds me of, reminds them of One Life to Live, which is what I started off watching. I was like, okay, cool, let me give it a chance. And it was all rocky in the beginning, but I'm so glad that I stuck around. And I started watching it again because we're going to start off with the Doug stuff. Oh, wow. So Doug and Julie meet up with Kayla. And, they want to sit there and find out what the test results are. And she doesn't really have anything for them. So, she refers them to Marlena. Now, Marlena and John was sitting there talking about Johnny's movie. While John thinks it's a bad idea because it's going to drudge up a lot of painful stuff. A lot of stuff that they just don't want to he just doesn't feel like people should revisit, Their affair, some other stuff that we're going to get to in the end. Just a lot of bad stuff, that happened on. And it kind of, the way that John said it was like, it kind of, let Sammy to do some other things. And, Johnny's going to sit there and tell this story, you can't leave something like what happened with Marlena and John out of it. It's not like you can sit there and cut it from the movie because it's kind of important as far as some of the stuff that she does later on and kind of because of it. So he's not happy about it. Marlena's there trying to look at the bright side of it. She wants to help out her grandson and, she's kind of just like the past is the past or whatever, but she wants to hear him out. She gets a call from Kayla. She meets Doug. Now Doug, in the beginning it's like, listen, I really need your help and stuff like that. I'm just really praying that you can help me. And I'm not going to lie, almost kind of broke my heart a little bit, especially for the fact that they've been together for so long and he just wants to be there for his wife. And I mean, I guess I'm somewhat of a romantic. I mean, I'm not really into couples, but I am into the idea of romance a little bit, It's a very beautiful thing when, at the end of the day, they've been together for so long and he wants to do everything in his power to continue to be with this woman that is practically his life. Now, with that being said, she starts asking him some questions. And, in the beginning, Doug was like, I just don't feel okay, between the fact that he groped Pauline's ass. And, Marlena was like, can you tell me why you did that for? And in my head, I was like, I don't know, maybe she has a great ass. Like, I don't know. I mean, I was not there trying to make light of the situation, but, in reality, I'm kind of glad I did a little bit, because what happens next, remember that clip? I don't know if anyone remembers that clip that I put up of Marlena being possessed. I don't know, the devil. Well, the minute that she asks he talked about the freezer incident. And like, well, why did you, why'd you do that for? Like, why'd you put him in the freezer? It's like, no. I don't remember who brings up what, but I know that he was talking about that freezer incident or whatever. And, Marlena was like, it's not that big of a deal. Whatever. I think she was like, you didn't know. She was like, you didn't mean to do that. I don't know what happened between nice, sweet, innocent, kind-hearted Doug, and when they panned back to him, I almost didn't recognize him. Almost gives me chills a little bit just thinking about that. This man was like, he said, it's not meant to be funny, but he said he locked that bitch in the closet on purpose. I was like, wait, what? Hold on. I want to make sure it was still there, because when he said that the first time, I was like, what? I had to rewind that again, because even Marlena was like, what are you talking about? And then she's like, I'm pretty sure you don't mean that. He's like, yeah, that was the most fun I had all week. I was like, I'm sorry, what? And then he said something along the lines of, well, I know exactly who you are. I'm not Doug, but I know exactly who you are. Listen, I don't speak for all men, but as a man, I like to sit there and think that nothing, like I'm afraid of nothing. It's not true. Certain things do get to me, or will literally, it scares me. I still can't actually, I don't know if I ever be able to actually watch The Exorcist, like the Linda Blair one. I to this day, I can't do it. I can't do it. That stuff terrifies the living life out of me. Stuff like that generally terrifies the living life out of me. Because it's always based off of true stories. Whether you believe in that stuff or not, the fact that it's based in reality is enough to, scare the living hell out of me. No pun intended, but so when this man did the whole demonic voice and he was like, you don't remember and stuff like that, or I remember you or something like that, I was like, okay, we're going there. Now Johnny, before that scene happens, Johnny's not there reading the rest of the script. The script that I guess Will gave it to him. And he's reading, and he's like, what the hell? She was possessed by the devil? I know it was not meant to be funny, but just the way he was just that surprised was just like, wait, what? Now after John talked to Johnny about why he had reservations about, doing the movie, he basically was like, let's not, when I talk to Marlena again, we'll circle back around, and, we'll go from there. Then he said something about, oh, don't you want to sit there and make a movie about talking dogs? Okay, is Clifford part of, NBC or something? I mean, I'm generally asking. And just on a side note, why are they still trying to promote that, Beyond Salem, like miniseries, even though it's already over. They already did like 5 episodes. Like it's done. And every day I've been watching it. They keep sitting there doing that promo. I don't really understand that, but I think Johnny is testing the wrong man. He gets into it with his dad again about working for DeMero. They go back and forth because Johnny's like, I'm not about this, and you keep asking me the same thing. I keep coming with the same answer. I don't understand why you keep doing this dance for him. So you go back and forth, and then Johnny, because you talk about the movie, Sammy and stuff like that, and Johnny starts saying things that he probably should. EJ is a very interesting character because he can come across as very charming, and when you're on his good side, it's great. We are on his bad side. This man can be very, 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 very dangerous, and he has the money and the resources to really take care of you. He's not the type of person that you want to cross. And he started talking about Sammy and Lucas. Now Lucas is the lover of her life, and even in real life, they had cereal twice or whatever. Cereal is a code word for something else. They had like cereal twice and stuff. He's just really saying stuff to get under his skin. And EJ was like, listen, I get it. You want to sit there and do stuff that's going to get under my skin. But if you're not careful, you're going to push me one day too far. He practically warns his son, like, don't push me too far. And I'm like, oh, damn, that's your son. This man just threatened his son. At this point, he's so unpredictable that if he managed to threaten his own son, I can't imagine what he'll sit there and do to somebody he just generally doesn't like. I mean, he walks off, and even Johnny was like, okay, like maybe I did go too far. Of course, he doesn't really say that. I don't know if it's out of pride. He does wind up hitting up Lucas and Roman, money for investing in his movie. Lucas wants to do it because, well, he wants to get back at EJ. Roman wants to do it because, I don't know, Johnny is his grandson, and he wants to sit there and help out his grandson, and, whatever. And Kate is like, nope, I work for that man, he signs my checks, and I'm not letting the money stop, so, nah, I'm good. Now, Lucas and Kate do sit there and talk about Roman and how, they're good together, they should get back together and stuff like that. They have chemistry, and they're cute, as a couple. That's, I'm not really into couples and stuff like that, but he basically sits there and said they're a good pair. There's some mini flirting that's going on. So it's not like it's, there's nothing there. You're like, you should do it. But Kate, Kate doesn't sit there and deny anything. Doesn't sit there and say that she wouldn't want to do it or that it's a bad idea. So when Lucas left, Kate was like, oh, Lucas is sitting there talking about us getting back together. And, Roman was like, all right, what do you think about that? I mean, it seemed like Roman put his cards on the table. And, Kate's going to have to sit there and try to meet him at least halfway. He's not going to sit there and keep trying to shoot a shot and just get rejected and stuff like that. I mean, after all, like Lucas said, he has a sense of pride. So, I don't know. And the last scene is with Abigail and Chad. And, when Abigail walked in, she was sitting there thinking about all the awful and terrible things that she said to Gwen as far as her child went. And to be honest, I still feel the exact same way now that I did when she said those things. And she was a terrible human being. She was a horrible human being. But, she had to talk with Chad, and, Chad's like, alright, so we're going to move your stuff into our room or whatever. And, Abigail's like, no, we're going to be doing separate beds. But you're all okay with that, right? Yeah, sure. He's totally okay with the fact that you're back and you're going to be sleeping in separate beds again. No, he's just ecstatic about that. I feel like at some point, and I really want this to happen because Chad was, and I don't like using this word too often, but was simping like there was no tomorrow, just saying that I am nothing without you. I feel like at some point, Chad is going to reach his limit, I mean, I know that Abigail wants to sit there and work things out, but like, I mean, no offense, but you're kind of moving at somewhat of a snail's pace, though. He gets you back and you're just like, oh, cool, we're going to stay in separate beds. Like, what? Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I have my wife back in my house again. We're not having stereo, but we're going to be in separate beds. So that's just fun. No, that's cool. So they're talking. EJ walks in and EJ's like, oh, you're back. And you're, going to be sleeping in separate beds. What is that like? Pretty much. Chad is just like, yo, it's none of your damn business. Like, bro, are you kidding me? They get into an argument about Johnny. Because EJ's still upset at the fact that Chad didn't run interference and get him to join Team Tamara or whatever. And so, they go back and forth. EJ brings in Abigail like, oh, can you sit there and talk to your husband, and, get some sense into him. Abigail's like, yo, listen, I'm not playing that game. Okay? I mean, let's be honest, the minute that EJ walked into the room, it's not like Abigail's like super ecstatic or whatever. It's not like, oh, EJ, she's just kind of like, oh, you're back. Like, almost looked at Chat like, yo, you couldn't give me like a heads up or anything. And so she's like, yo, listen, I see what you're trying to do, and I'm not, I want no parts of this. So, EJ's like, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I'm glad you're back, or whatever. And there's one thing that he did sit there and say when he walked in. He was like, I'm so glad that my little brother took my advice as far as getting you to come back. And then Abigail says something like, oh, so, like, he was it, or I don't know if she said anything, but I know Chad was like, no, I was totally planning on doing it by myself, I didn't, I was already planning on doing that. And I was like, Chad, listen, I get that EJ's acting like a dick right now, but, let's be very clear. It was EJ's idea for you to go to Boston to get back your wife, to fight for your wife. When you were sitting there saying, oh, I'm going to sit there and give her time and her space. So you're just going to sit on your hands and do nothing, right? Just twiddling your damn thumbs and just hope it's going to work out for the best tomorrow? I mean, I get that again, but you got to give him credit where credit's due. So him saying, oh, no, it wasn't your idea. No, Chad, it was totally your idea. With that being said, I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Be safe. I gotta sit there and say, once again, this was a really good episode. A little bit creepy, I'm not gonna lie. I do love horror, and I will sit there and eventually watch The Exorcist. I'm not gonna lie, that movie's old, and yet that movie still scares the living crap out of me. I'm looking forward towards this story, and honestly, to tell you the truth, now I'm sitting there thinking about it. I mean, I was watching scenes of it, her possession and stuff like that, and it was just so funny. And I'm like, man, I missed out on that? I'm bringing it back again. That's awesome. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Be safe. See you in the next video.